Hello. I am so excited to jump into today's topic today. And let me just prepare you here. We are going to get super deep. It's going to be a very deep concept. And for some of you, it may be kind of hard to wrap your head around, but for some of you, it may click just like that, like really easy. And it may be like this almost like new awakening within you that you will have and you will realize. So I'm excited to dive in. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Savannah. I am the founder of Love Your Body Now, which is a clothing brand that helps women to feel worthy in themselves right now. And the brand has expanded. So I do in person events, we have community, we have mentorship for women. So if that is the journey that you are on, you are wanting to dive deeper into your internal work so that you feel worthy, so that you feel aligned mind, body, and soul, and can really step into your dream life and step into your purpose and your God given gifts in a way that no longer feels like you can't have those things. That is the work that we do. Um, I dive so deep into the work on like subconscious beliefs and how we rewrite these and why it dictates so much of our life. I talk a lot about why that is and how to reconstruct all of it, because I think for a lot of people, they struggle with, okay, they learn these things, but they struggle to actually make the change. Like it doesn't click for people right away. I struggled with this too. I was so heavily involved in personal development. I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, we are so big on personal development. We become obsessed with like learning and we just like absorb the information like a sponge. And for a lot of us, we don't always apply the internal work that comes from the personal development. I think we believe, at least I experience this, by learning the information, I thought I was doing the work. And that was a huge realization for me that I actually had been avoiding a lot of my internal work and instead would spend a lot of my time absorbing information, learning, which is not a bad thing. I feel like for some of us who are in the entrepreneur space and maybe you've been told you have ADHD, like we become obsessive. Like we love learning and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think when we are trying to learn more about the psychology of why we do what we do and how to expand, how to become abundant, how to attract the life that we want, we forget that there is like this work that we have to do internally. Like it literally is work and it is so intentional. And now that I feel like I have done so much intentional work. I've done so much internal healing and healed a lot of the wounds that were holding me back and really got reconnected back to myself, because that was something that I would do is like I would become so fixated with my work that I would be in this like hustle mode. I would be constantly absorbing information and trying to strategize and trying to do and achieve and get to the next thing, and that was all my way of avoiding the deep internal work, okay? So if this is resonating with you, just know that like I was there, like I experienced that, I went through that, and I've also done the deep work and feel like since I did the deep work, like this is what I get lit up teaching about and helping and mentoring women push through the beliefs that are no longer serving them so that they can rewrite them. But it takes more than just saying affirmations, okay? It takes more than just the surface level stuff that we think is how we do it. It takes so much more intention. And what I want to share with you is, if you are in that season where you do want more for your life, you are craving more, you have had this realization that where you are at currently in your life right now is not aligned. It is not where you want to be, and you have big dreams, and maybe you feel like they're so far away from you. I have felt that for so long, where I've had these huge dreams and these desires on my heart, but they just feel so far away. Like it feels like there's this huge gap between where I am now and where I want to go. I want to share with you why you were struggling to get past that, why you were struggling to finally step into that version of yourself you crave so much. And it's no secret, but I think there's a lot of, again, like this is a very in depth concept. And I talk so much about like we have to have awareness in order to change our life. We have to have some kind of awareness that what is going on inside our head, how we are living our life, like it is not serving us. We have to have awareness. Like that is the first step. And if you are watching this video, I think you probably already kind of know this, that you have to have awareness, enough awareness that you need to make a change. But here's the difference, and here's the more in-depth concept that I didn't really realize as I was like on this personal growth journey and really knew I wanted more, but really struggled with feeling like I could ever have it. Like I always felt so far away from it. And it was this idea that there are different levels of awareness that you have to unlock in order to step into your dream, to step into who you are meant to become. And I didn't really, like, you kind of know it, but at the same time, you don't. And I just like feel like there are different levels that you have to go through experiences, you have to go through inner healing, you have to go through intentional subconscious reprogramming to unlock these levels of awareness that expand your consciousness, right? Like we are all here. If you're watching this video, I know that you are already have some kind of awakening within your consciousness, and the best way to compare it is to like the people who are living their life on autopilot. Like they are in the matrix, they are doing the same thing on repeat every single day, and they're not really questioning it, right? They're just doing it because they think that they have to, because this is just the way things are. And you and I, we know that there's more to life. Like we have had this awakening within our consciousness that is telling us, no, this is a simulation. Like this is not real. Like there is more to life, and we have that inner knowing, and we're on this journey of like figuring it out. You have to have a certain level of awareness and awakening within your consciousness to even understand this. And I believe if you're watching this video, you likely have experienced this. But by stepping into someone who is like fully abundant, I'm sure you know people, whether you've seen people on the internet, you've been to events, and you've met other entrepreneurs who are like, their life is the definition of perfect. Like they have everything, and they just keep seeming to like attract more and more and more. And I think we all are like, how do I get to that point? How do I become the person that is in overflow, that is constantly attracting more and more and more? And it's easy. It's not like you see them hustling and working their tail off to get to there, which there are some people who believe that that is how they obtain it. And we know that our anything we believe, like that is our reality. So like there are some people who that is what they think that they have to do in order to get the things that they want in life. Therefore, that is going to be the reality of it. But there are also people that we know that my cat's going to probably jump in my lap here. We know people who they attract things so easily, and they're not even like, they're just showing up as them as their most authentic self, and it's like things fall into their lap. And that is because they have unlocked one of the highest forms and levels of awareness and consciousness. And I want you to start to think of it as these levels of awareness are like, when we're not aware, we are basically in survival mode. We are in like our animal instinct mode. And that looks like people working for a living, just scraping by, right? They're barely making enough money to survive, and maybe they look to a lot of external things, whether it's food, money, um like sex, like they look to those external things to feel some kind of sense of like satisfaction in their life. And that is very like animal instinct, that is very survival mode, and that is like the lowest level of consciousness. That is like the lowest level of awareness. And we start to unlock these levels, right? And what you will see is the people who are the most abundant, they are the most overflowing with everything in their life. They have unlocked all of these levels of awareness to where they're out of survival mode. They are literally in the level of abundance, but that can only happen in increments. You have to do the work to unlock each level, and sometimes that means there are lessons that you have to learn. There are wounds that you have to heal through, that you have to process, because if there are wounds that you have not healed through, they are stuck within your body, because we know our mind and our body are connected. Everything's connected, and it gets trapped in the body. And if you don't do the work to heal through those things, you're not going to be able to unlock and get out of the survival mode, because the body is keeping you trapped in that level. Okay, like I know that this is like kind of weird how I'm describing it, but this is, I tried to shortcut this, and I think a lot of us try to shortcut this, right? We want wealth, we want overflow, we want abundance, we want all these things, but like we're trying to skip the steps you have to go through to unlock it. We're trying to, like, people who are abundant, they're not in survival mode. They appreciate the things that they have in their life to like as if it were their wealthiest self. Like, we have to learn how to appreciate everything that we have in life before we have everything in life, okay? If you can't appreciate it when you're at this level, you're not going to be able to fully appreciate it at this level, and it's not going to be abundance. You're going to have to hustle your way to get to that point. Same goes for, it's not just wealth and money. It goes for relationships, it goes for our career and like what we do in our life and family, all of these things. So know that you have to work your way out of survival mode in order to unlock this level of abundance, of love, of gratitude, of peace, of joy. It has to be unlocked in layers. You can't skip it. So what I think a lot of people go through in this process is because they haven't unlocked the levels of awareness. I'm going to figure out how I can describe this. So, if you haven't watched my other videos before, you need to watch my other videos to understand how I teach these things. But like, subconscious beliefs drive everything. They are what is in control. They drive 95% of our life. And essentially, our subconscious beliefs are who we believe to be our identity. And because they are driving our life, I want you to think of it as everything in your external reality today is because of the past version of your subconscious beliefs. That is like the best way that I can like think of describing your external reality is a past version of you. So if you are not happy with your external reality, you have to rewrite your subconscious beliefs so that you can create a new reality, because no matter what conscious things you decide you want, if your subconscious beliefs do not align with it, you will not be able to change your reality to what you want. That's why I'm saying, like, you can't skip the layers of awareness, of consciousness to get out of survival mode. You can't skip those layers. You have to unlock each layer. And by doing this, you have to reveal the subconscious beliefs, because if you do not change your subconscious beliefs, that is you trying to skip the layers. That is you trying to skip the levels of awareness and consciousness. So, the easiest way to start rewriting your subconscious beliefs is to look at your external reality and take ownership that that is all you. Everything in your life right now is what you have manifested. It is what you have created, because we are the creators of our life. And it is literally a direct reflection of your own subconscious beliefs, your own internal wounds, everything internally. Your external world is a reflection of that, okay? And if you if you have a hard time owning up to that, it is because you lack some kind of awareness that that is your ownership. And it feels almost like when someone calls you out on something that maybe you're doing. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you are attracting like dirtbag men into your life. Like, you are, every person that you date, they end up treating you terribly. And you start to think that like men are the problem, right? And then someone, maybe like your best friend, your mom, your sister, she calls you out and says, you are the reason, like, you are attracting these men. There is something about you and your beliefs. You are attracting these men. If you don't have the level of awareness to like understand this, and you could still have awareness, but also like if you are in a lower level of awareness and consciousness, this is going to feel like an attack. And what happens is you actually might get triggered. You might get really upset. You might get really defensive. You might feel like the person who just called you out is a jerk. Like, you might really feel, again, like, think of like we're in our survival mode. We're like a wild animal, and we just like, we feel cornered, and like we just have to attack, right? That's what wild animals will do. We are in survival mode. That is a direct indicator that you are in a lower level of consciousness, awareness, and you are in survival mode. So when someone literally, it's like they're holding up a mirror to you and saying, this is your subconscious belief, this is you, that you did this. If we can't wrap our mind around that, it's going to feel like an attack on our identity. It's going to feel like the deepest level of attack, even if that person is telling us out of love. Because our subconscious beliefs, I've talked about this in other videos, it works so hard every single day to find proof that they are true. Because when we unravel our subconscious beliefs, when we try to change our subconscious beliefs in like a sudden way, it's an attack on self, because subconscious beliefs essentially make up our identity. Whether we like them or not, they make up our identity. So, literally, anywhere in life that you get triggered by whatever, that is an opportunity to reveal a belief you have within. Because if you are feeling attacked, if you are feeling triggered by something, maybe it's politics, people are talking about politics, that means you are so deeply rooted in a belief that it feels like an attack on your own identity that you get triggered, and you feel like you have to defend, you have to like fight and um react to what is going on externally, okay? So if you don't have that level of awareness, maybe you're, let's say you, that is your level of awareness, it's, you are attached to these beliefs, you are attached to this identity. It's going to be really really hard for you to make any kind of change, because you don't really realize what's going on with you internally. All you know is you are in survival mode, and you are just like, this is an attack on myself. Like, I have to defend at all costs, because it feels like fight or flight. It feels like this is survival. Like, I have to defend this belief, this identity at all costs, even though it may not be serving you. I hope this is making sense. So, as you start to unlock different levels of awareness and you start to reveal subconscious beliefs, you can start to take ownership of that and start to rewrite them. And this is such an intentional process, and this is what I teach like when I mentor women, like how do we actually work to reprogram, because it there is a mind body connection to it. And that's the other thing is when you look externally and you take ownership that everything externally is the creation of you. When you are in this survival mode and you react to everything that goes on in your life, you are triggered. When you allow yourself to react and have an emotional response within your body, it is impossible for you to make a change, because what is happening is you are essentially reinforcing the subconscious belief every time you have a reaction and you trigger something, and it creates this emotional reaction within your body. Every time you allow yourself to go through that process, it is keeping your reality the same. Okay? It is keeping your reality the same. So that is why you have to have a certain level of awareness to even catch yourself when it is happening. Some people are so like they do not have the awareness that they are even reacting to something. They just get so triggered and the emotion literally consumes them that they you can't even have a conversation with them, right? I'm sure you've been in those scenarios where like someone is just so triggered by something and they get so upset and defensive, and like they will not even hear what you have to say. That is what's happening when we have created our realities. And that's why so many people struggle to change their reality, is because they lack that awareness that by them having finding proof within the reality that they've created, which we know is our past subconscious beliefs, we find proof in our reality of why we can't change, of why things aren't working out, whatever. And then we get triggered by things that it's literally the own reality we've created, and then we get triggered by things and it keeps us the same. And that is how your subconscious brain works, is keeping things the same, keeping things what feels like safe, because we've created this like baseline, this homeostasis within our body to match our reality. That is why you may get triggered over things all the time. That's why something can ruin your day just like that. It happens all the time. It's because your body has to stay in this homeostasis, in this baseline that it has created for itself to match your subconscious beliefs. So then, if you feel like things are getting too happy, things are getting too good, we start to sabotage them because our body is like, it can't handle it. Like your nervous system can't handle it because it has created its own baseline. And then like it comes up to here and it has to like re-regulate itself like this. It throws it into like a dysregulation, and that looks like being triggered, like feeling anxious, feeling stressed, feeling overwhelmed. And it's like we have to our it's just like a response mechanism that happens at that point. So that is why like someone who craves success, someone who craves wealth and fulfilling relationships, a fulfilling life, if they try to skip that whole process and they for some reason do get it in their life, they're not going to be able to keep it because their nervous system, their subconscious beliefs do not match that identity. It's literally going to be like an attack on your identity. It's going to be a crisis within yourself, and your body and mind will not allow you to have something that does not align with what you are experiencing internally. So I know I'm all over the place, but I felt like I really needed to explain this and go in depth with this to help you also wrap your mind around maybe why you are struggling to get to your next level, why you feel like you're struggling to unlock a version of yourself that you know exists within you, but you feel like you feel like there's this huge gap between where you are now and who you want to be and where you want to go. I want you to know that there's actually like a science to this. It is not because there's something wrong with you, but there are forces within you working very hard to protect you, and you have to overcome that. You have to be willing to let go of the identity and the beliefs that do not serve you anymore. And you have to be willing to do intentional work to basically, like, I don't want to say strip your identity, but you are stripping a lot. Like, you are training your body and your nervous system to be able to handle the next levels of awareness, to be able to handle the success, the wealth, the relationships, the love, everything that you desire. You literally have to train your body and mind to be able to handle it and to hold it and receive it. It takes a lot of work, okay? But that is why that it can feel so hard sometimes. I'm going to listen back to this and I'm going to be like, I was way all over the place, but it makes sense in my mind. And I'm hoping that because I had the desire to share it and like try to explain how this all works, I hope it will land for you. I hope it will awaken something within you. I hope it will help you unlock your next level of awareness. And I listened to the universe guru. Her name's Mina Irfan. She does a really great job of describing like the different levels of awareness that we have, like the different levels of consciousness that we have within us, that you, again, like you have to like unlock them. You can't just have them because you want them. You have to go through the work to unlock them. So she does a good job at, like, she's created her own way of describing the different levels of consciousness, and I love it. I think it lands really really good, like better than probably how I explained it. But essentially, I wanted you to understand and wrap your mind around maybe why you're struggling to uh, get the things that you want in life, maybe why you're struggling to feel like you're in this huge gap of where you are now and where you want to go. So, if you are looking for more in depth work, if you're looking for mentorship, if you're looking for um, how you can at least get started on this, I I'm currently working on some different offers to provide for women who are needing that, who are wanting that mentorship, who are wanting community throughout the whole process. But right now, I have a private podcast series that you can tune into. It is only $22 at this time, and it is 5 episodes. And it is like each episode is kind of like walking you through how to get started literally today. Like, you don't have to do anything crazy. You can just start doing these things to get you started on the ball, get the ball rolling on this journey of unlocking your different levels of consciousness and awareness. Um, and I will link that below if you want to check that out and see how you can get started. And stay tuned. I mean, by the time you're watching this, I may have multiple other offers of how we can work together and how you can go on this journey and have support while you're on this journey of rewriting your subconscious beliefs, and how you can realign your mind, body, and soul so that everything is just like in tune. Everything is just in sync to where you are just naturally unlocking the levels of consciousness and awareness. It no longer feels like you are in survival mode. Like, that is like the first thing, is you have to get out of survival mode, but you also have to understand what's happening throughout this process, because if you don't understand it, if you don't have that awareness, you will sabotage every single time. And that's just how we are wired, okay? So I hope that this was helpful. If you realized something, if you resonated with something, let me know in the comments. Be sure to like this video, subscribe if you want more content like this. And if there's a specific topic that you want me to expand on, whether it's relationships, money, body image, I'm really huge with body image as well. Let me know, and I would love to do a topic on something that you are needing more guidance on. But I can't wait to stay connected with you, and I will see you in the next one.